Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. So it's been a hot second since I have gone through the unreleased content items in Tapped Out. If you're not aware, there have been some stuff, most of it is from quite a long time ago, that was meant to be added to the game, however it never made the cutting block and it was never added to the game. So there's a lot of characters, buildings, other stuff that originally was going to be added, but for some weird reason or another, one reason or another, it was cut in the game. Now, I've gone through this stuff before, I think twice now, but and other YouTubers have gone through it as well, but I thought there's a lot of new recent players who haven't seen this stuff. It might be interesting to you, so I thought I'd do an updated version, just going through it all again, and also clarifying, because in the past I got confused as to what everything is. But now I have a pretty clear understanding of each item and the various different reasons as to why it was added and other things. So let's go through everything. So starting off, we've got characters. So first of all, we have the Jackson 5. Now, these were supposed to be added in the Boardwalk during the Squidport update all those years ago. They were meant to be another one of the Boardwalk performers that you could get, but they were cut for an unknown reason. They obviously are still mentioned in the game files, and the unlock message was going to be, "Come on, brothers, let's not fight, let's dance." And the little file description was going to be a performer for your Boardwalk. So they were initially going to be added, but for some weird reason they were cut. I'm thinking my theory for this is just because it is a real life person, Michael Jackson, and also the Jackson 5 were a real life band. So I feel like that's partially the reason as to why. I think this is when Tapped Out made the decision that they weren't going to add people who were still alive, because I'm pretty sure some of the Jackson 5 are still alive, right? So I think that's, even though that they are just puppets and this is Michael Jackson and these guys aren't Michael Jackson, I think they kind of made that decision, okay, we're going to stay very clear of actual real life people and we'll stick to parody characters. So that's my personal theory, but who knows as to the true reason why they were cut. The second one here we've got is Gil. So Gil actually was going to be added as a playable character at some point in the game. He actually does have an unlock image, which is right here. This is his unlock image that can be found in the game files. So he was actually meant to be added, but for some weird reason he wasn't. Who knows as to why this has happened? We can only hope that in the future they do add Gil, because, Gil's a character who definitely could be a good final character to throw in there, if the game ever ends, or if they want to do a big anniversary update. Obviously, Tapped Out Anniversary doesn't look like it's happening now, which is very sad, but hell, they could add this in if maybe as a surprise. That could be cool. The next one here is Bender. So Bender, actually, this is only a text icon, and I've separated text icons, but the difference thing with Bender is Bender was initially meant to be added during the Simpsons tie-in, but due to legal issues, they basically said that he couldn't be added. So essentially, what happens is, because Tapped Out licenses the Simpsons, right? They don't license all of Fox content, so they only license the Simpsons. However, Futurama falls under a completely different set of copyright. For example, the Simpsons has shown the Hulk before, but they've got around it, because you can claim parody law, etc., etc. And obviously, when the Simpsons showed Hulk, this was before Disney owned Fox, so this is before they could claim, oh, we're all under the same company, kind of thing. So basically, Tapped Out would stay clear of adding characters from different mediums, but they wanted to add Bender for the Simpsons thing, and because Bender obviously he's not just a cameo role, he plays a key point in that episode. They were trying to add him in the game, but obviously it fell through. They couldn't in the end, so sadly we never got Bender in the game. It's a shame, really, because it would have been really cool if we could have got him in here. Here's hoping that eventually they possibly could find a loophole and throw him in. I'm thinking it's unlikely, but you can always hope. So that was Bender. He was meant to be added as a actual proper playable character, but it sadly fell through. And then finally we have the Amateur Mage, the Brave Tin Knight, the Rascal Rogue, and the Warrior of Muffin Top. These guys were obviously decorations now in the game. You might recognize them if you've got them in a mystery box or something. Initially, though, they were going to be actual playable characters. All of them were going to be their own separate playable characters, and they were going to have tasks, animations, the works. But they decided at the last minute, I guess, to instead change them to decorations, which I probably would prefer them as NPCs, to be honest. I think that would have been the best middle ground there. because I don't really like these guys as decorations. I think NPCs would have been fine. Obviously, this was the Clash of Clones event that they were initially meant to be added. Moving on. These are text icons. So these are text icons that weren't released. However, it's possible that these things were intended to be actual costumes and characters. And but obviously we don't know for sure. All we do know is that there was text icons that were in the game that were never actually added in the quest lines. So we have Jackington here. Jackington is of course a bully who bullies Greta Wolfcastle at her school. So he was unfortunately not added, the text icon. This may imply that the character was to be added, or it could have just been a text icon that was dumped. Then we have Bort the man. This text icon was found in an unknown update actually, but obviously the Bort boy was eventually released. But this text icon has still yet to be used. And then this one was going to be a skin for 3D Homer. Again, this is just a text icon. It was found during the Tatball and Soccer Cup 2015 content update. However, it wasn't never added to the game. Again, these could be actual, character and a costume, or it could just be a simple text icon. We really don't know. Moving on, we have buildings. So, let's go through our buildings. So, first of all, we have Hailstones. So, Hailstones is the building next to the Springfield Mall. Now, we haven't got an actual picture for this. However, the sound files for this were in the files. So that's pretty cool, but it was never added. I think this was around like Christmas 20... I'm pretty sure it was around when the mall was first released, because that's when it popped up, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, this one's been in the files for ages, as well as this one, but we got Hallerich Apartments. This one was originally meant, I think this was like a Thanksgiving update when this came out in the files, and a lot of people were thinking that Jacqueline Bouvier could come with this. This is how long ago that this is in the files. It's just before Jacqueline Bouvier was even in the game. And people were theorizing that Jacqueline Bouvier would come with this, but alas, that never happened. She came with a different building, so who knows when this is going to be added. We have the world's largest toilet. Again, this is another one people were theorizing is going to be the next aspirational building, just because it's one of those kind of big, weird-looking ass buildings like the Escalator to Nowhere and the Popsicle Stick Tower. But again, it was never added. Still hasn't been added. It's really weird as to why this has never been added in the game. Very odd. Then we have Shop. So you might notice that this one is kind of already in the game already. However, this is a different version of that building that we have in Springfield Heights. So yeah, this one's quite simple, like a simple block, but obviously the one that we got in Heights at the moment is a lot more built out. I think the one in Heights does look better, but this one is more show accurate. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that we didn't get this version of it, because this is the more show accurate one, like I said, but hey ho. And then this one I find very interesting. We've got the Mountains Construction and the Mountain Destruction. So basically, there was going to be some sort of thing in the Heights where you were going to be able to actually build up the mountains, I guess. So you would have the destruction here, and then you'd build it up to this, and then you'd have the final product, just the actual mountains that are in the game right now. I don't know, this is really odd that they were going to add this as an aspect. I'm kind of glad they actually ditched it, because for me it's a bit tedious and unnecessary, but yeah, it's still pretty cool to see the mountain construction and destruction. Moving on, we have icons. So I don't normally go through this, but I found these kind of interesting. So first of all, we have the sushi, which is a production icon. So this was actually going to be one of the things that you earn in Springfield Heights, just like the furniture and the pharmaceuticals and the film awards and the ads. Were the ads? Yeah, the ads. It's going to be similar to that. Sushi, but it was never added. So who knows what the plan was for that? Obviously, there had to be some sort of sushi place, I guess, to be added. Really weird. Then we have the collect from all finished jobs. So this was going to be added in the IRS and job management content update, but it wasn't. So instead of having to click like the big thumbs, you would get like this as a text icon in your top right of your game. But so you could click and complete all jobs at once, but they didn't do it. And I think a separate one was added, actually, a different icon. I think this might be for the the job management center. And then you also have the send all on animated jobs. This was just they obviously used a different text icon, and this one is one that was in the files that was never used. So that's interesting. Moving on, we have skins. So first up, we have this one from the Tatball and Soccer Club 2015. So for the dirt field, we were actually going to get like a little grey dirt field, a clay dirt field, and a gold dirt field. They did add this clay dirt thing for the stadium. I'm pretty sure for the stadium entrance. But obviously it wasn't. It was to be added to the clay field, but they never ended up doing it, which is nothing too important really. Doesn't really matter too much. And then this is the Scream Some House. This is an alternative version of that. This obviously was added in the game, but it looks a bit different to this. The windows aren't blacked out like this. This was what I guess it was originally or meant to be added as, but this is obviously they went with a different version, so this is the alternative one. So that's pretty cool there as well. Obviously, we'll probably never get that, unfortunately. Then we've got decorations. I think this is the most interesting one because there are some really cool things here. So you got the ice cream car. I quite like the look of this, to be honest. Then we got the My Pod poster board. This one is pretty awesome too. I like this. We have the hellhole. This hellhole, I presume, was meant to be added during the Halloween event because this actually has an animation as well that was unreleased, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Then here we have the Rigelian billboard, which is pretty cool. We have the ugly elf-made cardboard cutout. We have this tree. This is from Winter 2014. I like this one a lot. This is a nice looking tree. I do wish they had this. Then we have the translator, which is here. This was meant to be added for level 55, but wasn't. Oh, back to the billboard real quick. This was actually supposed to be a part of the Man Who Came to Dinner episode tie-in, but it ended up not being a part of that tie-in. Sorry. And then we have the Springfield Heights entrance. So similar to the, I guess the rocks. We were meant to have different entrances for the Springfield Heights, which is very odd. But obviously they never added that. But no, that would have been pretty cool. It's a shame we didn't get that. I would have actually liked to be able to like move around the entrance and kind of design it how you like, but whatever. Then we have Diaper Hill. It's just a bunch of diapers. This was obviously going to be added during the monorail content update, but it was scrapped for some weird reason. Then we have the Operation Exodus rocket. So we only have the audio files for this, but this was meant to be a decoration during a Horror 2015 update, or the Treehouse of Horror 2014 update. Yeah, was never added, so that's a bit of a shame. And then we have the Dr. Nick billboard. This was meant to be added winter 2015, as well as the Nuclear Inspector van, which was meant to be added in winter 2015. And then these two things, I don't have pictures for, nor can I find pictures from the show. We have a farm plot. So this was going to be connected to Cletus's farm, but it was never added. So probably just a farm plot that you can kind of decorate your farm with. And then the Simpsons TV menu. I don't know what the hell that was meant to be. It's really odd. And the Simpsons TV menu had an audio file. It was discovered during the Tailgate and Daily Challenges system. So possibly it wasn't actually a decoration. It was like a trivia thing maybe. Who knows? Very weird. And then we have some tiles. So these were tiles that were again meant to be added during Springfield Heights, just like these different alternative entrance signs and also the rocks that we got here, the mountains, I should say. Oh god, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Don't know what happened there. Yeah, so we got tiles. So we have this rocky one here, this golden one here, and this path one here. They're pretty cool. I'm actually very disappointed these were never added because it would have been nice to have some new tiles added with heights, because obviously they didn't add any tiles with heights. Obviously you've seen it now, but we have alternative decorations. So we have, this was meant to be the original campfire, but then they added it as this instead. So this is what it was originally, and this is what they added it as. Then we have the camping tent. It was originally meant to be this, but then it was added for the Clash of Clones like this. So I kind of would prefer this one, because this one's very different, you know. And then we have the manhole. This one I think is the most disappointing, because we were going to get like an actual proper manhole, and instead we obviously got the Secret Agents one, which was here. And the Secret Agents one is cool and all, but like when you tap it, it kind of goes up, and you know, it's all like mysterious and stuff. I just want like a simple ass manhole. I think that would be cool, so that you could place on the roads. So I do hope that they eventually add the manhole like permanently to the store. Then we have consumables. So we got two things here. The membership license. This was an image found during the tap ball and soccer ball update. Nothing that matters too much. Obviously, back in the day, if you didn't know, you could buy these. You could buy these licenses, and essentially they would help you unlock prizes quicker, and if you went to your friends' towns and stuff. So it's nothing too important. And then the Xmas mystery box. This was a mystery box that was meant to be added during a Christmas update. This was meant to be the image that was going to be used, but they went for a different image instead. So yeah, it's nothing too important really. Then we got tasks. The first one is there was meant to be a party down at Quickie Mart task for Duffman, and also party down at Springfield Mall task for Duffman. That was never added. We don't have an image for it sadly, but that was meant to be a task that was at those two buildings. Obviously, we do have a lot of party down Duckman tasks anyway, so it's not too much of a big deal. There's meant to be a go jogging animation for Dr. Hibbert, where, you know, he's jogging. For Wigan, we have a buckle belt / try to see his belt buckle, which is meant to be look like this. And then we have the P dance / PP dance for Homer. And then finally, like I said before, with the Hellport, there was meant to actually be an animation with that decoration with Devil Flanders, where he was going to open this Hellport. So that's pretty cool. Then we have Cletus's farm. So there was actually going to be a bunch of 4 more things that you were going to be able to grow at Cletus's farm. So the first thing is elf berries. This one looks pretty cool. A meth plant, which is pretty funny. I kind of understand why they might have, you know, skipped that one. Then we have got tofu. And the weirdest and surrealist one is the cabbage baby. And this one's kind of funny. Yeah, no, it's a real shame that they never added these as well. It's weird that they were in the files, because Cletus's farm does have a lot of stuff that you can grow. So I don't really understand, but there you have it. And that is it in terms of the unreleased items. There is a few quest lines as well that were unreleased that are also listed on the wiki. I'll leave a link in the description for the list of unreleased items. If you're that bothered to read through the quest lines, I personally couldn't be bothered going through the quest lines, to be honest. I mean, if it's cut, or, you know, cut quest lines, to me it's not really important whatsoever. Yeah, but like I said, there is some very cool stuff to here that hasn't been released. I think the Jackson 5 is a real shame. Obviously, I feel like this was way before the accusations and the Leaving Neverland documentary and all that. So this is like way before the sort of Michael Jackson's shitstorm, and before, obviously, the Simpsons pulled the episode. So I think the chance of getting the Jackson 5 now is even less likely. Gil, I think, is still very likely. We definitely could get him in the game for sure at some point. Bender, I think, is unlikely, especially now the World of Tomorrow games came out. And these guys, probably not going to happen either, just because they were added as decorations. These text icons probably will return at one point, wouldn't surprise me. The world's largest toilet and Hallerich apartments, one can hope, as well as hailstones, that we'll get them one day. This version of the shop probably won't happen, and these mountains have definitely been scrapped. These things probably been scrapped as well. These skins are obviously not going to happen because this was during the tap ball, and obviously we already have the alternative one for that, so that's not happening. Some of these decorations are probably quite likely to show up eventually, so we can hope for them. Probably not these height things, though. These tiles, one can hope, but I very much doubt we're going to be added. Alternative decoration-wise, the only thing I can potentially see is the manhole and maybe this 10. I don't think they'll add this separate fire. I think this one's fine anyway. Consumables obviously won't happen. These tasks may happen, who knows. And the Cletus's farm, I think they've probably just abandoned them, because that's been there for a while. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts on all this unreleased items. I thought I'd go through it one more time for anyone who's new. If ever there's new stuff added to it, I think I'll probably go through it again. So tell me your thoughts, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.